This is CBC Vancouver News.
As a mom of two under two, I'm stressed out as it is.
It doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole lot of services over and above emergency.
A new hospital is coming to Surrey, but parents and business leaders have serious concerns. Also,
we absolutely need more sick time if this is going to carry on.
With illness on the rise and an overwhelmed healthcare system, calls for more sick days in BC. And
well, thank you all for coming. I hope you have found it reasonably interesting.
Hovercraft history will take you on board a rare vessel straight out of science fiction. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Dan is away tonight. I'm Michelle Ghoussoub. We begin in Surrey, where plans for a new hospital aren't quite getting the praise you might expect. The problem is what is not included in the $1.7 billion proposal. As Belle Puri reports, locals and business leaders say the hospital as it stands will leave the community with serious shortfalls.
Hi, Ellie. I love you.
Growing families face challenges, not the least of which is an overburdened healthcare system.
As a mom of two under two, I'm stressed out as it is.
It's good news Surrey will get a much-needed second hospital. Bad news that it won't include maternity or pediatric services.
If I have a hospital that's not even 5 minutes away, that could potentially take care of all my kids' needs if needed. That's wonderful. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing that, if something is, really wrong, I will go there, but probably would just have to wait and to be transferred anyways.
The 168-bed hospital includes emergency, 5 operating rooms, and a cancer clinic.
It's almost just like an urgent care is what it's going to be. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole lot of services over and above emergency.
Cloverdale is one of Surrey's fastest growing communities. By 2051, its population is projected to hit 120,000.
Their job is to take care of future needs.
The call is for a full-service hospital.
Taxpayers' money might be better spent if they were to look at the demographics of the area a little bit more carefully and then have them build something a little bit more robust.
At $1.7 billion, the investment is the most significant in Cloverdale's history.
We have one of the largest children population in Western Canada. It's really in the hands of Fraser Health to determine what the true medical needs are, and this is where the shortfalls are coming.
Criticism and concerns that this site won't include maternity or pediatric services are getting attention. Fraser Health now wants feedback on the new hospital plan. Last month, the Health Authority conducted an online survey for input from local organizations and residents. Findings haven't yet been released.
I think that I'd tell them a growing community with younger families and younger children, PEDS would be one of the more important departments to have in a hospital, a community like this.
Hospital construction is set to begin next year. Belle Puri, CBC News, Surrey.
Health Canada has approved the first bivalent COVID-19 booster shot for children ages 5 to 11. The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine targets the original virus strain plus the more recent BA4 and BA5 Omicron subvariants. The National Advisory Committee on Immunization recommends it be offered to children at a higher risk of severe illness at least 6 months after their first series. Staying on children's health, parents in BC are struggling to keep up. Kids continue to get sick as influenza cases are on the rise, and the line of when to send your kid to school or stay home yourself isn't always clear. As Yasmin Gandam reports, some parents' sick leave and their options have run out.
I just felt like I was at breaking point.
Sarah Ryan is a mom of 2 in Kamloops. She has used 18 sick days this year to care for her kids and doesn't have any left.
I think it was October when my kids were sick. I was ready to just quit everything, quit my job.
She says both her kids have fallen ill with COVID, the flu, and RSV.
My daycare has still a 0 symptom policy because it's a home daycare. So if the daycare owner gets sick, then she has to close the daycare.
With no sick leave left, she worries about what to do if her kids get sick again.
Do we reintroduce masks again? Can we make our kids wear a mask again? They hate masks.
This pediatrician says in the current climate, any flu symptom is enough for a child to stay home.
Even when they've got a new, just new runny nose and sore throat where we know something might be in the mail. Because we're seeing that doctors' offices, emergency departments, hospitals are all full of children.
But keeping kids home isn't always easy for some. Labor experts say women are more likely to stay home to care for kids than men, and some who do not work in jobs that permit working remotely face extra challenges.
In particular, women in the service sector and in frontline services. And so that may well require taking unpaid leave in order to care for children.
The BC Federation of Labor is calling on the province to offer more paid sick days amid a surge in respiratory illnesses.
Folks shouldn't have to choose between going to work and feeding their families or paying their bills, right? And that is, currently the situation. 5 days doesn't go very far if you get a COVID diagnosis.
The province currently offers 5 paid sick days to eligible employees. The BC Federation of Labor is hoping to up that to 15. But parents like Ryan say that's not nearly enough.
I've used 18, right? So 5 is like a drop in the bucket.
This parent just hanging on and hoping her kids manage to dodge more illness. Yasmin Gantam, CBC News, Vancouver.
The BC Centre for Disease Control has quietly issued a warning about an increase in avian flu cases in the past few weeks and the potential risk to humans. In a memo sent to doctors, it said half of the infections have been recorded since mid-November. It says animal-to-human transmission is rare for avian flu, but with an explosion in cases, the risk is growing for those who work with birds and animals. Doctors are being asked to test anyone who presents with flu-like symptoms and has been exposed within the past 10 days. Sir Matthew Begbie Elementary School in Vancouver has a new name. The school will now be known as Wakwanis Tushayakwam. It was gifted by the Musqueam Indian Band and means the sun rising over the horizon.
Can we say Wakwanis? Tushayakwam. Wakwanis Tushayakwam. Wakwanis. Wakwanis Tushayakwam.
The school was named after BC's first Chief Justice. Members say the old name brought back memories of a painful past, and the new name will herald a new beginning for the community. Ottawa today unveiled a strategy for what are known as critical minerals. The plan aims to speed up project approvals for raw materials that will be kept key in achieving net zero carbon emissions. Olivia Stefanovic reports on the challenges ahead.
It might sound counterintuitive, but the federal government believes mining is key to unlocking Canada's clean energy potential.
Any plan that does not include thoughtful consideration of how to develop and how to deploy critical clean technologies is not a serious climate plan.
Ottawa is cutting red tape to excavate the materials needed for batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, and electric vehicles more quickly.
It cannot take us 12 to 15 years to open a new mine in this country, not if we want to achieve our climate goals.
The World Bank expects a 500% increase in demand for these elements, lithium, graphite, nickel, and copper by 2050.
We're in trouble. We've got climate change is real. We used to say just a few years ago that the North is feeling it 3 times as anywhere else. We're now saying 4 times.
The Northwest Territories is rich in these critical minerals, but it only has one operating mine. Before it opens any more, it needs new roads and hydroelectricity to replace diesel generators.
Speeding up the regulatory process is only really going to do one thing, and that's going to put Indigenous nations and industry and government at odds.
He says companies need to collaborate with Indigenous communities to seek consent and ensure all environmental concerns are addressed.
It sets off a lot of alarm bells, actually, because we've already gone through several rounds of basically deregulating.
Even with almost $4 billion on the table to speed up approvals, some say it's still unclear whether the money will make a difference without direct investment.
Some of the examples of where these processes have dragged out actually have to do with markets and companies just not being able to find the capital or the justification to build something.
The pressure is on for Canada to become a leader in clean energy technology. Unless it can smooth out its regulatory process, it will remain dependent on other countries. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
You had to be very quick. Oh, guys.
A blast from the past. Coming up, we take a look at a hovercraft built nearly 60 years ago. Stay with us. Thanks for watching our commercial-free live stream. Santa recently made his way through Windsor, Ontario. He was picking up letters and telling kids there's still time to get them to the North Pole.
My name is Gianna and I am 7 years old. For Christmas, one thing I need is a jacket. One thing I want is Lego set. I can't wait for you to visit. Thank you. Love, Gianna.
What are you guys putting in your letters right now?
We're putting what we want for Christmas.
That's exciting. What do you want?
What do I want? I want a new jacket because it's almost winter.
It's cold out there, hey?
Yeah.
What about you? What are you gonna ask for Santa?
I want a dog and I want new shoes because it's getting cold outside and my shoes are very thin.
So we try to focus on things that we need, which is like clothing, bedding, things like that. Wants the electronics like video games, toys, cats and dogs. And then wishes was just something that they wished for. A lot of them still wished for toys, but we did that just to kind of make it easier for them.
The staff is incredible, and they look at those lists and they look at those wishes and the wants and the needs, and if things are really dire and need to be taken care of, then the staff takes that on. And they'll let the principal know, and Kim will let me know, and with the sisters and our donors, we try to provide whatever we can to give them a good Christmas. It's never a question of what these teachers and EAs and secretaries and custodians and principals and vice principals, everybody has a part in being part of the St. James community, knowing what these families need and how they can best provide for them.
It looks like something straight out of a 1950s science fiction film, but in the 1960s, it was cutting edge. And now a rare homemade hovercraft has been reunited with its builder. Lian Young was there.
You had to be very quick. Oh, guys.
It's not going to start, is it?
No, it's not going to start. No.
David Scott is in familiar terrain. He built this 1,100-pound foam-filled metal monster in 1965.
Do it side to side again. Yeah, this one's moving.
This is the first time the 86-year-old has been able to show most of his family Grandpa or Gumpy's history-making obsession.
It's really cool that he made it.
He's always been such a creative, hardworking person who has these just outlandish ideas and makes them real. So yeah, it's incredible to see it in person.
Very excited because I hadn't seen it for 40 years, and it was a big part of my life 50 or 60 years ago when I built it.
It all started with this.
Try not to drop it when it comes apart.
A double-hulled hovercraft prototype, Scott's final project as a UBC engineering student in 1964. And this was as cutting-edge as it comes. Hovercrafts had only been invented a couple years prior.
The test results of the model were good, and I thought, well, hell, I'll go ahead and build a full-size one. And so over the next couple of years, in my spare time in my basement in Tempe Crescent, I built this.
2 years and 2,000 hours later, Scott believes he built the first private hovercraft in Canada. He had to take out a wall in his North Vancouver home just to move it. But the maiden journey made it more than worthwhile, with his daughter Anne and her mother Margaret watching. Under orders by the Department of Transport, he took off a solid 9 meters.
And after that, they said, well, when they saw that it wasn't going to hurt anybody, they said, well, you don't need to have it tethered.
He took it for a couple more spins, some more successful than others.
Because it had so much momentum, it kept on going, sliding on the snow, and hit the Volkswagen. And the owner, who had been a friend of mine, was quite upset. And I remember saying to him, well, look, you've got the only Volkswagen in Canada that's been hit by a hovercraft.
The vessel was soon retired, kept here at the Vancouver Maritime Museum's storage facility. Scott went on to work in real estate, but Gumpy's stories as an inventor were legendary. And after this visit, no longer just fabled.
Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you have found it reasonably interesting.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Amazing. Way to go. So amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Leanne Young, CBC News, Vancouver.
A new hygiene facility in Surrey is offering services for people who are homeless, providing everything from laundry and showers to a hot meal.
My name's Mike Musgrove. I'm the Executive Director of Surrey Urban Mission, and right now we're at the Cove Healthy Living site. It's a hygiene facility to help with alleviate some of the gaps in services that were in this area. Come on in. There we go. So the first point of contact is right through this door. We opened on the 21st of November. We've been open for a couple weeks. And I think the first couple days we had, around 20. Or through last week we were averaging 50. Yesterday we had 76 people in. If you want a shower or to do some laundry, you're going to come meet with one of our staff. They're going to fill out this form and they're going to see that, oh, okay, so you are Mike and you want to take a shower and do your laundry. So while you're waiting, you can come over and you can get a hot snack. Looks like we're serving up some soup right now. Nav, nicely done. And there's coffee, hot chocolate. We have caseworkers that are trained, and they're also very, very skilled at helping people get ID, residency cards, on income assistance. If someone needs to get into treatment, then they'll help with getting into treatment. And we have laundry facilities here. They're busy frequently. So we also have these comment cards. They're from our guests, people that have come in and used our facility. And so in a short time, we've managed to build what I would see as a pretty amazing connection with our community. And if you want to use a washroom, here's our washroom facility. We have a urinal, toilet. Everything's very clean. It smells very nice in here. And then there's a shower. People tend to need about 20 to 30 minutes, and we try to keep to that. Also depend on how busy we are. Without this place, there would be nowhere for any of us to have a shower or someone to talk to so we can let our emotions out. I love this. I love this stuff. It's awesome. So that's what we have to offer here, and that's what you should expect when you come to the Cove Healthy Living Facility.
Thank you for showing us around.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Here is a live shot of a dark and rainy Georgia street. Kuljeet will have your full forecast next.
And finally, on the news portion of our broadcast, a new rock video. This one to raise money to make sure Canada's food banks are full for Christmas. As Georges Trammell reports from Vancouver, the title of the video comes from an old saying.
Action speaks louder than words. That's the message of this new video just put together by Canadian rock artists. It speaks of the plight of the poor, especially of their hunger, and of the need to help.
Bottom line is because I care about people that don't have enough to eat, people that are locked into a self-perpetuating poverty situation, and hopefully this will alleviate some of that and maybe spur some elected officials to change things around.
The proceeds from the sales will go to food banks right across the country. The Vancouver Food Bank is trying to get enough food for one extra day of giving just before Christmas. These volunteers collected a whole van full of food.
People are really willing to chip in, and when it's down, it's great.
In October '82, the Vancouver Food Bank gave out 225 bags of food. In October '85, it gave out over 15,000 bags.
All across the country, more and more people who never thought they would be poor are now living well below the poverty line.
The boxes were slow to fill today, but the volunteers hope the record and video will have a ripple effect across the country and make many more people aware of poverty and hunger in Canada. Georges Trammell, CBC News, Vancouver.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC Vancouver inbox.
Enjoy CBC Radio 1 while you're on the go with the free CBC Listen app. Get live and on-demand access to your favorite CBC radio programs like The Early Edition with Stephen Quinn. And never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC Vancouver's e-newsletter at cbc.ca/Vancouver Inbox and keep connected with us.
If you're thinking of traipsing into the woods to cut down a Christmas tree, you can, but there are some rules. Last year, we sent our John Hernandez out to collect a tree and walk you through how to do it. And now it is finally time for John's beloved Christmas tree story.
So it's the holidays, and what better way to get into a merry mood than to cut down your own Christmas tree? Well, to do it legally, the first thing you should know is there's some red tape, and not the festive kind. You need to register for a permit on the BC government's website. It's quick, easy, and free. Print off the paperwork, and the adventure begins. Before you take off on your Christmas adventure, make sure you have your tree cutting permit with you at all times. Some other useful items, a first aid kit, some rope, and the right tool for the job. In BC, you can't just chop down a tree anywhere. Odds are you'll have to go on a bit of a trek. Trusty online maps from the province show you exactly where you can cut, depending on which region you live. For us, that meant a trip up the Sea to Sky Highway north of Vancouver. Let's go. Be prepared for a hike in. We're here just outside of Squamish. This is the closest place you can come to if you live in Metro Vancouver to cut down your own tree. And if you do have a permit, you'll have to do it underneath power lines. That's because these areas are regularly cleared. Head to high ground to get a good view of what's in the area. And don't be afraid to size up any potential candidates. Before you start cutting, make sure you find the perfect tree for you. I like this one. Make sure it fits right on top of your car, and when you start cutting, make sure you do it right at the base. Nothing to it. Now, a lot of people might come out here with the preconceived idea that the trees out here are full and picturesque like you'd see in the movies, when in fact, a lot of them are actually quite sparse. But they're still beautiful because you cut it down yourself. Safely secure the tree to the roof of your car, or even squeeze it inside if you can. Then you're ready to hit the road. Steady as a rock. Well, she's all loaded up. Now it's time to head home, bust out the decorations, and sip some eggnog. John Hernandez, CBC News, Squamish.
The weather update is brought to you by Direct Buy Furnace, installing the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
And CBC's Kuljeet Kaila joins us now for a look at the forecast. For people looking to lock in those weekend plans, what can we expect?
We can expect more of what started today, and that is rain because of a strong frontal system that came off the coast. It's also brought along with it a couple of snowfall warnings for East Vancouver Island. Courtney and Campbell River could see up to 10 centimeters of snow overnight. The Sea to Sky Highway also under snowy conditions. About 25 centimeters expected there. Otherwise, rain for the lower mainland, and we're going to get to those totals in a bit. So starting overnight tonight and into tomorrow, lots of rain. And then after that, the system will start to clear and move its way out, and things will get a lot clearer at the beginning of next week. But this weekend, you want to be prepared for quite a bit of rain, especially for Saturday. The other thing this system is doing is bringing extremely cold temperatures across BC. Here are some of the coldest temperatures for tomorrow. Fort Nelson will be at minus 22 high, minus 26 overnight, minus 27 overnight for Dease Lake, and Prince George will see a minus 6 high tomorrow. Might be getting some snow through that stretch of the Caribou as well as Williams Lake, minus 3 there. Some snow for Kelowna and for the Kootenays as well. So it's going to be quite cold. A little bit of sun for Prince Rupert, but the overnight temperatures there will be dropping quite a bit. Dease Lake will see minus 27 Saturday night. It's going to get extremely cold. For us, rain totals in some parts of the lower mainland look like this. 15 millimeters for Vancouver, 20 for Coquitlam and the North Shore. Abbotsford and Surrey seeing a little bit less at 10 millimeters of rain, and that's going to be from tonight into tomorrow. And that rain will pretty much come to an end at that point. Sunday, we return to mostly sunny conditions, about a 30% chance of rain. And like I said, the week will start off nice and dry, but cold overnight temperatures, dropping all the way down to minus 4 by the end of the week, under sunny conditions, but cold overnight. Michelle?
All right, thank you so much. And that is your late news for Friday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For news anytime, visit cbc.ca/BC. Your next local newscast is on Radio 1 tomorrow morning at 6:30. Good night.